Two podcasts.
Okay, so welcome to the Wonder and Whimsy podcast. I'm Kimberly, and this is...
I'm Justin.
And today we are talking about the philosophy of time. So we're going to be reading a few quotes and sharing some stories. We're going to be talking about Emily Dickinson's poem, a couple Einstein quotes. We'll get a little into physics and philosophy. So if you like philosophy, please subscribe to this channel. And let's dive in.
As per usual, we've been diving in,
Yes.
and we're letting you in on the conversation now. And
This is true.
yeah, glad to be back again.
Yes, welcome back. You've been missed. All your fans have missed you.
I know, man. I've been trying to reach out to them. My fan club got started without my knowledge. So, no, glad to be back. This is gonna be fun, as it was last time, and maybe many more to come after this.
All right, so we're going to start with Einstein. So one of my favorite quotes by Einstein, which relates to the relativity of time: the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. So this gets into a little bit of the physics and how time is not necessarily a fixed absolute thing, that the past, present, and future can coexist. And if that's true, that also raises questions. Okay, well, if everything is pre-written, do we have free will?
This is true, and I often wonder, because obviously one of Einstein's favorite, one of his quotes is God doesn't play dice.
Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of leaning into it, I feel like, a little bit, and I think we'll dip into physics a little bit. The Einstein quote will get you there immediately.
Immediately.
Because obviously, our intuition is that we are moving forward,
Mm-hmm.
and time is just we know the past happened, and now we're here, but we also know that it'll be a moment later.
Mm-hmm.
Things happen, things decay, impermanence,
Mm-hmm.
all these things. It's just something we live. It's so the intuition that time is just barreling forward at one constant rate seems to be. I mean, it's why we always thought that before Einstein, right?
Yes. We thought that time was an arrow. We thought that time was linear, right? There was a beginning, and then it moves.
Mm-hmm.
But Einstein...
And if we're here
Mm-hmm.
and somebody's on another planet somewhere else, we're both experiencing time at the same time.
Yes.
But this is not the case.
Yeah, I think Einstein was actually on a tram when the idea of relativity came to him, because he was thinking about how if the tram was going as fast as the speed of light, then a clock would actually look like it stood still. Because the faster speed is, the slower time is, which is kind of a crazy concept to think about. That time is a relative term, relative to gravity and to space. And he also has this notion of time is space. It's a space-time continuum.
Right. Which we heard a lot in Star Trek growing up. So.
Yes. But if you think about time in that way, that raises a lot of philosophical questions. Okay, how do we define time? Henri Bergson, on the other hand, I know they had this debate, in 1922, I think, in Paris. Henri Bergson and Einstein basically were kind of at war in how we define time. Einstein was all physics,
Mm-hmm.
time isn't this thing to feel. Time is all just sort of what you can know with physics. And Henri Bergson came along and was like, no, you can't look at time like that, because time is more than that. It's what we experience. And so we measure time with clocks, right? But we experience time with feelings, with sensations, with our senses.
Mm-hmm.
And
those aren't mutually exclusive.
yes.
Because, obviously the point of science is to get past as much as possible.
Yeah.
Which is not possible fully, but to get past our specific relative experience and be like, can we test this in a way that kind of takes as much subjectivity out of it as possible?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's funny that we're like it's like, oh, science, and it's like, oh, we actually found out that it's actually as subjective as it gets because it's from your specific vantage point.
Exactly, it's from your specific perspective.
And honestly, anything in motion.
Yeah.
Which is, once again, super counterintuitive. To think that, like, when we are, for instance, like, your head is aging at a different rate than your feet.
Right, because of gravity, because of mass. Our head is technically a little bit.
A little bit. It's not much.
Yeah.
It's not much. You're going to have to wait about 1 million years
Right.
to rack up like a quarter of a second or something like that.
Right.
But that also goes into the idea because obviously before Einstein it was just like Newtonian physics.
Yes.
Right. So apple fall towards Earth.
Yeah.
Things objects have gravity.
Yeah.
We didn't really know. They're just like, it has it, or at least it's showing it. We don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But we do know that there's a math equation that will show.
Right.
And so that was kind of how we thought about gravity. Didn't think about gravity being, intrinsic, like linked to time in a way that would affect time at all. Like, you're not thinking that. And
No.
because it's so minuscule too on our level that you would never intuit that.
No, I think unless you're a scientist, you wouldn't necessarily just like get that sense.
Right. It would never happen.
It would never.
And then Newton, arguably like the greatest scientist of all time, comes by and says, oh, well, this is the science of it. So now we even have no scientific reason to believe that it's like that. And then, kind of what Einstein showed was that, okay, motion, right? Oh, it's acceleration.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Speed of light, and then so if you do a beam of light and then it's on a train, but the train is moving at like 60 miles an hour, is it the speed of light plus 60 miles an hour? Like, and so he starts thinking of all this stuff and kind of go for it. And then obviously we learn that gravity isn't any different than just acceleration.
Yeah.
Right? It's just the same thing.
Yeah.
So which is also interesting concept, because we thought about it as like some kind of force, like the electromagnetic force. It was like this force, that force, and then gravity is some kind of particles, and they're pulling. We don't really know, right? You can only guess, but like that's what you would think. Okay, well, obviously something's like pulling. There's some kind of force that's pulling. We didn't know that it was bending space-time, warping it all around us.
Yeah.
And there's no way we could have known.
Right. And how time actually curves.
Which is just, honestly, and here we are like thinking about this all the time, and you're still going,
I know.
my brain's curving.
Yeah.
Something to, but it is really interesting because like what, and not even that long ago in the history of stuff, this is all relatively new.
Yeah.
But it's pretty wild that it popped up, and then it just like every experiment that came by after it just backed it up.
Yeah.
Because there were so many people that were like, come on, Einstein.
Right. But it's proven, like GPS satellites, the clocks run differently.
You have to reset the clock. You have to yeah.
So, it is proven. Einstein's theory isn't necessarily just a theory. Like, that's how we use
it's
clocks.
The best theory so far, yeah.
But I do think, unless you're a scientist, it is a lot easier to wrap your brain around Henri Bergson's notion of la durée, which means duration. And the French version of la durée, duration, is different from like the English duration. What la durée or duration means, according to Bergson, is the way that we experience time. For instance, grief. We were talking about grief earlier. That can feel like time is stretching and it takes a long time. Or like earlier when I was in traffic.
Right.
Like when I was in traffic getting here, I was like, it feels like time lasts forever in traffic. But sometimes if you have like a romantic moment or just a moment where you feel really, really alive and connected to someone or something, that can almost feel like time stands still. And
and then goes really fast.
Afterwards. Yeah.
You're like,
it goes by really fast.
well, it's like say you're saying, you have 1 hour left with a friend.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, and then we're like, they're not gonna see him for years.
Yeah.
But the hour went by so fast. I thought we were gonna be able to do everything, and now here we are. Now it's the end of the hour, and now we're sitting here, and now I miss you already.
Yeah.
And so that the anticipation, I guess, of it makes you be like, I guess you're always thinking like,
waiting.
This is ending soon. This is ending soon. This is ending soon. This is ending soon. And I guess you kind of forget to just go ahead and live in the moment. But place your hand on a stove, and every millisecond is gonna seem like
Feels
a really
like
long
forever.
time.
Yeah.
So it's strange because that obviously, like, our perception of it. There's our scientific perception, and then there's like our experience of it.
Or sensory perception.
Yeah. And then like our conscious, like all these things add up. Like, oh, I'm in pain, so like now every second seems like an eternity. Or I'm sitting here with someone that I love, and we don't have a lot of time, but now we have 24 hours with this person, and it seems like it just went by in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Or you have like a really good phone conversation with somebody, and you get done, you're like, were we just on the phone for 3 hours?
Yeah.
And you go, God, it seemed like 30 minutes.
Right. Yeah. You always hear this phrase, time flies when you're having fun.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason for that, is because our perception of time changes depending on our experience of it and how we feel about it. Trauma, for instance, we process time differently with trauma, and it feels different. So whereas joy, we process that differently. Our sense of time feels different. So Henri Bergson was all about how do we feel and sense time. So this is a quote that he wrote that I really like to think about anyway. So time is invention, or it is nothing at all. Duration is the continuous progress of the past, which gnaws into the future and swells as it advances.
Gnaws into the future. He would say it like that.
So to him, time is more of like a flow of consciousness. It's to him, we shouldn't reduce time into just the physics of perception. Right? We should live in the moment, because the moment is all we really have.
Sure. This one, and then this one,
Yeah.
and then this one, and then this one. And then, but it also kind of goes into like, you can't like slice up time.
Yeah.
There's no there's no like Planck. I guess there is the Planck time.
Mm-hmm.
They talk about that. It's like the shortest amount of time possible. Like, what does that even mean? Like,
yeah, the shortest amount of time. What, a nanosecond? Like,
no, it's like, well, it's called. It's
measure...
actually called. Well, there's the Planck length, and the Planck time, and it has to do with like the singularity.
Oh, tell me more. Okay.
Let's see if I can tell you more, but but like the Planck length is like the smallest possible size. Okay. According to, there's no way I'm gonna know like all the math and stuff, but
the size of.
It was supposedly the size of the universe.
What?
At the very beginning of the Big Bang.
Oh, before the Big Bang, they're calling it a Planck.
Well, we can't really say before the Big Bang.
Yeah.
If that's when time started.
Right, because is time linear? Or is time ever present? Was there a beginning of time? Or was it just ever present?
Well, could you even call it the beginning? Okay, so let's say there's a singularity, right? Let's say there's like a tiny little, whatever it is, that I don't know. This is smaller than anything I can produce here.
Yeah.
And then there's like a, This is the Planck length.
Smaller than an atom and an electron and a proton.
Behold. And so there is like, and that is supposedly, all matter in the universe was that size.
Okay.
And then it started expanding.
Yes.
So we call it the Big Bang, but it wasn't an explosion. It just starts expanding.
Yeah.
And apparently, mathematically speaking, there is also a time that is like the shortest interval of time. But just like they're linked. because it's space-time. It's
Yeah.
not like oh, and then whatever, but
Yeah.
it's not like and then it starts to do that. But you can't really say like you can't be like, well, what happened before that? Because if time started then, along with the space-time, it's like incoherent to be like before the Big Bang.
Yeah.
Like we can barely comprehend how time works.
Right.
So we can't comprehend like what's going on before time, or if the question even makes sense.
Right. Because all we know, or what we think we know, is that everything was just mass, plasma, and then that began to expand.
Just began to expand.
So you have to, I guess, in order for us to at least try to understand it, you have to think of it as a beginning. But that doesn't necessarily mean the concept of time, or time as we know it, had an actual beginning, because it could have been,
how does it begin
it's
if
hard
there's no time in the first place?
Right. And, if you think about time as just a social construct, a way of trying to organize our lives, and that, I think, is we can all understand that.
Right.
But the physics of time, I think, is harder to understand when you're not a physicist.
True. And I think that even they go, well, the math works.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like right.
Yeah.
But to to kind of like, bring it back, thinking about like we experienced the past. We've learned things about what the past means, especially like with the Big Bang and stuff. We're like, okay, well, there was some sort of singularity, and because we could just live in a static universe where we didn't see the redshift and all this stuff, and we're not like everything's expanding. That's also like a pretty big discovery because how there was no reason to intuit that either, right?
Yeah.
So we're not like we had no reason to think that like we were this small and then everything's moving outwards and then time is linked to this, and it actually like seemed like we were in some kind of static universe and we were in some kind of linear time.
Yeah.
And we didn't even know they were connected.
Yeah.
We had no clue. And now we're sitting here going, oh, these are connected?
Mm-hmm.
But our experience, that doesn't change that I have to get up for work.
Right.
So like us as humans coming to terms with it has very little to do with the science or anything like that. It really is like we are just going, oh, that just happened. Past is there. I remember things. They inform what I'm doing. And now I'm just chomping into the future. Like, just kind of like, oh, here we go. Some things go by quickly. Some things take forever. And it turns out that the scientific literature caught up with our feeling of it, which is that time is relative.
Yeah.
Depending on stuff. Now, the stuff that we depend on is like, whether we're anticipating or whether we're bored.
Yeah.
Or whether, you're attracted to somebody or you hate somebody.
Yeah.
All these things affect our stuff. And in physics, it's more just like your motion affects it.
Right.
So it is kind of interesting.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So if time is not linear, right? If past, present, and future coexist, then what do you think that means as far as free will? Any thoughts?
Well, I'm already a free will denialist. So you're not going to get any, I'm not going to have too much of a, I would say that coincides perfectly with what I think is going on. Which just means I think that obviously, of course we have free will. We have no choice, right? So I do think that it kind of, I guess, backs it up. It's kind of like, because you think like, we're here, I have some information, and then I make a decision, and then these happen after each other. Or like boom, 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 and now I'm here. But to some, you're moving at a different speed in the somewhere else in the universe, and all those things happen in an instant.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like, well, now we know we can't travel back in time.
Well, I don't know.
We don't know that, but we know that like that's something that like, let's put it this way. We know we can travel forward in time.
Yeah.
We definitely know that.
Mm-hmm.
Traveling backwards in time, we don't have like a theoretical way to do that. unless you count the fact that since it's relative, let's put it this way, you could never experience it.
Your consciousness, as you know it in the present, we've never got to a point where our consciousness in the present can travel back in time and experience. Like, it's not like Back to the Future. We've never...
Which would be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to prevent my parents from meeting or anything like that, but like...
But I haven't given up on that possibility. Because if time is ever present, then who's to say we can't discover a way to do that?
I know.
You
But
know?
no, truly. I mean, there could be like some wormhole thing, but could we survive the wormhole? But think about like, so if we're here and, you know, somebody takes off at near the speed of light
Mm-hmm.
and then comes back
Mm-hmm.
and they have kind of traveled into the future in a way, but not really. To them, it's just been the same amount of time. But to us, now they come back and we're old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did we travel into the past once they come back? Because we're seeing what they would have been like
Yeah.
if they had just stayed, they would have aged with us, but they didn't. So in a way, we're kind of experiencing like...
Well, in a way, the past, present, and future are one. You know, we're not really separating them.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it just,
So-
it seems like I could go speed of light,
Right.
come back, and all of a sudden I'm in the future. Right?
Yeah.
Boom. Flying
Yeah.
cars.
Yeah.
Which we all know is like the first sign that you're in the future
Yeah.
is flying cars. We all know that. Okay? It hasn't happened yet. But we know that when the day comes, we'll be like, we have arrived in the future. But in a way, it's kind of like the other people are, I don't know. I mean, they're just seeing you as a young person still.
Yeah, they're just seeing
So they're
you.
kind of seeing the past as far as their past is concerned.
Yeah.
But
But it's in the present. In the moment, it's technically the present, right?
always is.
You know
But
what I
But
mean?
it always is.
So that's why it's like they all just kind of coalesce and merge together in that scenario.
So do I have to get up for work?
No.
So what you're saying is that I should use that as an excuse next time I'm late for something. Listen, I'm pretty sure I'm right on time.
You know, what's funny is, so I actually produced and performed in this show all about like quantum mechanics and multiple universes where time wasn't linear. And it was like a non-linear play called Constellations by Nick Payne.
Okay.
And so you see these two characters meet for the first time, and then there's a cut, and then you see these two characters meet again, but it's a slightly different outcome. So it's multiple timelines existing at once. Like in one universe,
This happens.
the guy's cheating on the girl. In the other universe, the girl's cheating on the guy. In the other universe, they're not cheating at all. One universe...
The preferred universe.
Yeah, in one universe, he proposes to her. She says no. In the other universe, in one universe, I have cancer. In the other universe, I don't. So it's a non-linear play. And anytime I was like running late to a rehearsal, I would always tell the director, but in an alternate universe, I'm right on time.
Right. As we know from this thing we're doing. So as far as like, so it does bring into question about free will, because like whether or not alternate universes where every possibility happens, you know, there's obviously the theory that like, oh, just every decision is another branch.
Yeah.
And it just happens. We just happen to be in this one. But that makes it seem linear. Because it's still kind of linear. Like you're in a timeline. Right.
Yeah.
And timeline, and because it's going to be linear. But
where like the trajectory is sort of fixed.
Right.
In this timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Timelines are a whole different thing, though, right? Because it seems like, I mean, it's certainly been explored in art and literature and stuff of like another timeline where we branch off here and try to come to terms with like what that would mean.
Yeah.
And like Loki did it, the Marvel universe did it, right? That was like the whole thing. They really leaned into it in a way that I feel like they won't recover from. But even like any other time travel movie or anything like that, it's always like, and then you branched off here.
Yeah, because of this choice, because of this one particular choice, you changed the trajectory of
Butterfly
your life.
effect.
Butterfly effect. That was a good one, actually.
Yeah.
I really like that one.
Yeah. I saw that in the theater, strangely enough.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like a movie I would have seen in the theater, but I did.
Yeah. That was a good one.
But yeah, because he starts experiencing it. I got to go back and fix it.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously it's like a little, chaos theory too. Like butterfly flaps its wings, hurricanes happen across the world,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. But it does seem like there's no indication that even though it's kind of like happening all at once in a way, depending on like where you are and how fast you're moving, it does seem like it still happens the same way.
The same way in what sense?
Like just because I fly out of the Earth's orbit at the speed of light, close to the speed of light, and come back, I am now younger, even though time has passed kind of regular for me, and time has passed regular for them.
You're younger than everyone else.
Everybody else is older, but
Yeah.
it still just went one. It still happened one way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's not like
For you, time was time was unique to you, but back on Earth, time was passing for everyone else.
faster.
Yeah, like an interstellar.
Right.
It's like if you went up to a black hole, time would change and your biology would change based on the time that you're experiencing in the black hole. But then when you get back to Earth, everyone else is older because of the time space.
So if you had the chance to do it, would you do it?
No, I wouldn't. Would you?
I don't think so.
Would you? I mean, you mean like, would I go to a black hole just to see what would happen? And
If you could do it safely, but knowing that you'd be like 100 years into the future or something.
I mean, it would be tempting just out of sheer curiosity. Like
That's how I feel too. It's like
it would be very tempting because like imagine coming back. It's almost like you would have your body wouldn't age, so you would actually be able to experience the future. You would have more time on Earth in that hypothetical situation, but all your loved ones
that's the problem.
could be gone.
That's the problem, right? Like,
yeah. So
it's
that
like-
would be the one reason, it's like, oh, my relationships that I have right now would be I wouldn't be around. According to their perception, I wouldn't be around
right.
for however long, 10 years, however.
Uh-huh. Yeah, but you'd come back like looking like the
The
day that you
same.
left. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you do it?
It's tempting because like you want to see the future, but like how much more important are your relationships? And I feel like the most important thing are like my interpersonal relationships with people.
Yeah, me too.
But damn it, man, think about all
I
the stuff that could
know.
happen. Like what kind of technology is going on? Maybe you come back and you're like, no.
Yeah.
Everything's social media now.
Right.
Like maybe you come back and it's like, oh, this is really bad.
It could be worse.
But I'm kind of an optimist, so I
Yeah.
feel like I feel like things like work itself out. But think about like 500 years, 1,000 years in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's
How
almost
lo-
it's
how-
almost like hard not to be like,
Okay,
I gotta see, man.
Right,
It could be
right.
crazy. Of course, then you go back and it's like everybody's cyborgs. Like, what do you even do when you get there?
Are human beings even on Earth?
I know.
Like,
They're all gone.
you're
Hello?
the only human being left, and everyone else is just cyborgs, robots. How long would you need to be in a black hole to come back to Earth 500 years later?
I don't know. It depends
it's like
it depends how close to the black hole you are.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
So there's certainly some mathematical equation to be like, oh, I'm just gonna dip my toe into the black hole.
Yeah.
I've been there with drinking. No, but I feel like I kind of if you could. I don't know if I would go. What if you could just do like a few years?
So a few years, maybe that's because I feel like the people I love, chances are they're still going to be around in the next few years.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I mean,
I don't know if it'd be worth a few years
you know,
to do it.
yeah.
but it would be worth 500 years.
Yeah.
You know, that's like something I'd want to see.
Yeah.
But then you miss out on everybody because then
Yeah.
they're definitely dead.
You basically have to say goodbye to everyone
Mm-hmm.
and come to terms with that. So it's a fun hypothetical situation to consider. I just I'm too attached to the people in my life right now that I think I would chicken out.
I know, they're like my favorite things.
You know, like they're my relationships with people. That's like the reason I live. You know?
I know, me too. I feel the exact same way. It's like those, like, you know, I don't have a relationship with a rock. I have a relationship with people,
Right.
and I want to continue that. And I'm gonna be sad when they're gone, and I hate it when I'm not with them. And it would just be sad. What am I gonna be at well, let's just say you could like. I wonder how long you would have to be just if you had traveled like 99% the speed of light or something.
99% the speed of light.
I mean, you die, but let's say there's
Yeah.
some kind of way.
Yeah.
Like, let's say you could just go. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough because you start to be like 10 years, 15 years.
I would not want to see like the people that I love and care about like as
Old.
robots. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm a robot now. Like that would be terrifying. You know, like they're a
It's
cyborg.
like a Planet of the Apes kind of
Yeah.
like they come back and like, oh damn you.
I wouldn't want that.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy to think about though? You brought up like the speed of light. The speed of light is always constant. Like the speed of light never changes.
Mm-hmm.
Like to me that concept is really interesting.
Which means that photons. That's how we know photons are massless.
Yeah.
And there's even the idea that there's only one photon,
Only one photon?
but it's just like existing everywhere because it's massless. So it's not actually like.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Okay.
It's a kind of. I think it's like a fringe
Yeah.
thing, but there is
Yeah.
like there is something to say. There's only one photon, but it's like existing all
Just
around
the
us.
one photon, yeah.
The one lonely photon holding it down. I did think. I remember being younger. I was like in my early 20s. And I was like on physics forums
Okay.
and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I was like really into. I was reading like a lot of quantum theory and.
I love that stuff. Yeah.
I was like, I got into it. I still have all the books and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably outdated now. This is 20 years ago. There's like new stuff. Damn science.
I
I can't read anything without it being overturned a couple years later.
Yeah.
But I started thinking about entropy,
Mm-hmm.
and because entropy is kind of like used as like almost like a measurement of time, where like
Mhm.
entropy only happens like one way, like everything goes from like, you know, everything's trying to find like an equilibrium.
Yeah.
It's like why do we exist? It's like to speed up the heat death of the universe, don't you know? Like we're here to consume,
Yeah.
and speed things up. But I did think like, you know, a photon. I was like, does it not experience entropy? Because if it's moving at the speed of light, it's almost like it's not moving at all in a way.
Well,
it's
yeah.
like not.
Yeah.
There's nothing. It can't be relative. It's standing still in a way. But it's obviously not. Like it's happening right now. It's all over the place.
Yeah. It's moving at the speed of light, but relative to our perception, it would be standing still.
Or to its, if it had like
If it had a consciousness,
it would just be like,
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
you know, because it's reached it. You know, it's
Right.
reached like, you know, you think about like 99% of the speed of light, and you're 500 years in the future.
Yeah.
But once you hit the speed of light, what is even, you know? So to hitch a ride on a photon.
Hitch a ride on a photon. That would be a really cool movie title. I'm gonna hitch a ride on a photon.
Right? Time stands still. It's interesting because obviously like there's no way we could. I think if I remember correctly, I do think that light can be like slowed down when traveling through some kind of medium or something like that. I don't know if it's like, I forget exactly. I should have looked this up before. I just didn't think about it. But I do feel like they said like it is constant, but it can be like
manipulated in some way.
in some kind of way.
Yeah. Maybe through like a prism or something.
I think I think it's like through
Well, I think the speed is the same, but it's the speed never changes, but other things other factors can change. Like for instance, so entropy you brought up entropy. Okay, so I feel like entropy, just like time, can be really hard to define, right? I think of entropy as almost like the chaos, the motion. But I mean, how would you define entropy for anybody listening that might be curious?
It's the state of, well, it depends how you look at it, but it's like the state of everything going from like ordered to like disordered.
Chaos, yeah.
But you can also look at it as like this, like working towards an equilibrium.
Yeah, okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's almost like, well, it's going from disordered to really ordered in a way that's uniform.
See, I've never heard it described like that before. I've always heard it like order to disorder.
Right, but depending how you look at it,
yeah.
like, is this the disorder?
Maybe what we think is disorder is actually just organized chaos. You know, like I have a really messy desk, and from your perception, you might think, that looks really disorderly, but no.
No, not for mine.
And well, maybe someone else. You're a bad example.
Go talk to somebody else about that. I like it when my
Maybe
desk
not
is messy.
you specifically, but maybe Tom so-and-so would look at my desk and be like, that looks really disorderly. But that's just because he doesn't understand that it is
my
organized.
Complex, perfectly aligned.
I know where everything is.
I know where everything is, or at least I tell myself that until I have to find something. And I will find it shortly.
But
yeah, no, so that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's kind of like how you look at it. Like,
yeah.
But if you think about it like, okay, it's just like heat dissipation, right? So heat is just, it's going off and it's going to keep trying to find an equilibrium. If you have a hot thing and a cold thing and they're next to each other, they will just do their thing until the energy runs out of the hot thing, and they'll just be the same.
Emerge as lukewarm. So I wonder why, like, I wonder what causes everything to kind of want to have this equilibrium as opposed to fighting for chaos. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would equilibrium be the way to go instead of like, why not chaos?
I don't know, but it seems to be like the only meaning that I can come up with.
Yeah.
Like ultimate meaning. I can come up with meaning all day long, like for like my own personal stuff.
Yeah.
But the fact that we're like, oh, we're organizing. We are massive consumers who we are speeding up. You know, it's almost like life is inevitable because life uses so much energy. It's a way for the universe to like really balance itself out. So, you know, you're thinking like, well, a planet could just sit there and then everything's sun's going and it's just kind of slowly going out. And then humans or any kind of life come around and we start burning energy.
Yeah.
We are like really helping the equilibrium happen, you know? So if somebody was asking me like, what's the overall meaning of life? I'd be like, the heat death of the universe. I have nothing else besides that. Aside from that, I like, ice cream, music's fun.
Yeah.
Walks in nature. Like I can think of all sorts of other stuff, but these all kind of contribute to the heat death of the universe.
But it just seems like scientifically everything is sort of it forms sort of like a balance as opposed to it forms some sort of order. And even our human brain, we are, you know, within this universe. We as conscious beings want to organize everything as opposed to disorganize and just become one with the chaos.
Right, but what I'm saying is that that need to do that, like the drive to do that is actually helping expend the energy to reach an equilibrium. So it seems like we're like organizing it, but we're really contributing to the to it becoming, you know, I uniform. I like to say maybe uniform.
Yeah.
It's becoming uniform where there's no hot, everything would be ultimately cold. There'd be no more heat.
Right.
It would all get used up.
Yeah.
But think about how uniform the singularity of the Big Bang would be. That's the most uniform.
Yeah.
Right?
It was just oneness. There was no hot, cold, like this or that. It was just all just one.
Yeah, just thing that's indescribable in a way that's almost incoherent.
Yeah.
And so maybe it's not the heat death. Maybe because we tend to think of it like, oh, well, it expand, and then one day all the energy will just be equilibrium, and then it'll be just absolute zero in the universe, absolute cold. There's no heat at all. It's just kind of, and then it's snuffed out. Or it gets to a certain point, and then it goes, starts coming back in.
Uh-huh.
But I think they've kind of shown that, I don't know, we know so little about it.
Yeah.
We're reaching to the stars to try to find out what the hell's going on. But like, does it go back? Does it just one day, billions and billions of years, billions and billions, it just fizzles out? And then what?
Yeah.
You know? And then you start to think, like, what's outside of space-time?
Yeah, what can we even fathom?
Is it coherent to ask that question?
Yeah.
It's just like the time.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, since they're linked intrinsically, it's the same question. What's outside of space? Nothing.
Yeah.
But is nothing something?
Yeah.
Okay, what's before time? Nothing. Okay, well.
What's outside of form and formlessness?
Yeah. And then we're back at Buddhism.
Going back to speaking of going back to time, so I really like this quote. I think it's interesting to think about. So this is by Dōgen, Zen Buddhism. You are time. Time is not separate from you. And as you are present, time arises. So this is more about Zen philosophy and how time is not a thing out there, but that we are time. Like if you think about it, our bodies naturally breathe. We have it's within our nature to be time. It's not something outside of us. It's not a container.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not like, we are all part of it. And I think that obviously like goes into the idea that it's linked like that. You know, if you find a lot of ancient wisdom, was kind of there to begin with.
Yeah.
And then they come back and they be like, oh, it turns out the universe is one and time is an illusion. Oh, who would have thought about that besides Buddhist monks 500 years ago?
Yeah.
It is interesting to think about because once again, it's like somebody did intuit that.
Yes, and that's sort of more, I think, aligned with Bergson's notion of intuiting time, feeling time, our sensory experience of time. As we experience time in the moment, it is within us. It is us. You know, it's not separate from us.
Right.
So, and I've definitely had moments. I was curious if you've ever had moments in your life where you've kind of felt this way, like felt like, I don't know, because I teach meditation and I meditate, and I will say there are moments where I'm meditating where I feel this sense of time flowing through me. Like I'm not passing through time. Time is flowing through me.
Yeah, I felt that during meditation too.
Yeah.
Like, I used to meditate a lot, and then I've found ways to kind of like, I feel like get the same kind of experience just in tiny little moments here and there.
Yeah.
There's times, and I kind of think about it like, I'm going to be really patient right now, in a way. It's not like for anything, but just like soaking in a moment or a feeling and just kind of being like, and it's like, it is like you experience it a little bit differently when you're kind of in that state.
Yeah. And
well, it's like the Satori concept, right? It's like a pure focus or whatever. Like if I was to throw you like a piece of paper, be like, catch this paper, you'd be like, hey, okay. But if I was to be like, hey, catch this knife, in that moment, it'd be nothing but focus, right? It'd just be like almost like slow-mo. Yeah. Right? And you can kind of reach those. It's supposed to be like temporary states of enlightenment. Yeah. You know, it's like you get a little glimpse into it. And, and it's like, oh, well, if you're enlightened, that's what it would feel like all the time. But then they tell you that like, nobody's ever like really enlightened to the point where it's, but you look for those and then you experience them and then you start to incorporate them more. Right. And so I've seen, like there's been times when I've just like, you know, say you just like stare at a clock for a minute or something, right? And you're just kind of like in that moment and you're focused and I think that's what meditation does, right? Yeah. So what's the Ron Swanson thing where he was like, oh, he goes into a meditation class. He's like, these guys are idiots. I literally sat there and thought about literally nothing for an hour. Right? Because like in meditation, it's not like that's why people get frustrated with it. Is because they think like, Well, I can't
They
not
think
think
they're
of
not doing it right.
right when
But-
there is no not doing it right. It's
Yeah.
just doing it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different styles of meditation.
That's true.
And when I think of mindful meditation, I think of that as I think therefore I am. We are human beings. We will have thoughts. But mindfulness meditation to me is about just observing your thoughts without judging your thoughts or attaching to your thoughts or
And mindful
identifying with your thoughts, just watching your thoughts flowing by. And then you start to feel more space between your thoughts. And it's those spaces between the thoughts where it feels like you're connecting more with the present moment. And I mean, for someone like me who's feels often like I was joking with you earlier when I was texting you, I feel like I'm a slave to clock time.
Right. She
Because
always has witty text depending on what we were talking about, and I love the energy. It's amazing.
But I really do feel like I'm a slave to clock time. And again, I've created this structure myself, but because I teach so many different classes every day and it's all scheduled.
You have to be somewhere.
At a certain time. So whenever I do I have to actually carve out time for timelessness or whatever. I have to carve out time for timelessness to sit and just be present. And there's other things you can do as far as like mindfulness meditation. If you can start with like observing 5 things that you see and then observing 4 things that you hear and observing 3 things that you taste. 2 things that you feel, or basically like honing in on all those senses.
And mindfulness is like easily guided.
Yeah.
Like it's easy to guide people into it,
Yeah.
which is really nice.
Yeah.
That's why it's like kind of the one where it's like, oh, you don't know how to meditate? Hold on.
Yeah.
I got you, and
Yeah.
then you can, even the biggest skeptic or whatever,
Yeah.
You put them through like a mindfulness, mindful meditation, and by the end they go, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I kind of see what that's about.
Yeah.
And it really is more about focusing in the moment. And then time does move differently.
Feels like it does. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Well, yeah, in the most important way, it moves differently.
Yeah.
Which is our perception of it, obviously, right?
Right.
So to sit there and have those moments, and I do feel like, I mean, sometimes it feels like, meditation just feels like checking out for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
It's
It can, yeah.
like a decompression and just like a test, not a test, but like just like pure patience. You're like, I am going to sit in this and be patient.
Mm-hmm. And so much of us, I mean, so many of us, because of our modern, especially American society, we're constantly dwelling in the past. We're reflecting on the past. We're trying to learn from the past. We're processing the past, or we're projecting into the future to our to-do lists, our plans. And I think in this modern American society, it's hard to really be present because of that, because we put pressure on ourselves to be productive, and we put pressure on ourselves to accomplish things and to set schedules. And so it's very easy to get stuck in the past.
Yeah, but how else do we keep the capitalist war machine running?
Yeah.
No, I completely agree, and I think that's been going on for a while because our survival is based on it.
Yeah.
Our survival is based on the fact that these people show up to do this. They got to harvest crops. You got to do this, and so you had to show up, or you died.
Right.
Right. So.
Yeah.
But what sucks now is all those. And this is something that, like, obviously we all see, but, like, even, like, I'll be 45 at the beginning of next year. And I was, like, the last generation of, like, not having computers and not having phones.
I was alive during that time, too.
Yeah, well, it's not just me, but all the people that were there with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't saying it was all unique
You're
to
the last
me.
person
But,
on
like,
Earth.
I am a person who's in that generation.
Right. I was just saying I can relate.
Yes,
yeah,
you know it too.
I remember.
And we talked about this because although she looks very young,
not as young as you might think.
she is a peer.
And we'll leave it
She
at
was
that.
almost insulted that I didn't think she looked older.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't insulted. I just don't think you should call yourself old.
Yeah, That's okay.
You're still very...
I'll keep that in mind next time I call myself old.
Again, time is an illusion. I'm sidetracking, but okay. So if we can accept time as an illusion, you've heard the difference between biological age and like the way we measure age is like how we measure time. We're counting our days. We're counting, and I feel that like that's silly because it's just age. It can also be like a choice. Like, sure, you can count how many days you've been alive and stuff. But why does that even matter? I mean, that doesn't mean you're going to enjoy life.
Tell that to shoulder injuries that don't heal up fast. There's some real consequences to time. No, I mean, I feel good. I obviously act like I'm younger because I'm like crazy musician who like does weird stuff that is not typically like what a 45-year-old cishet white dude would do. I'm kind of like bucking the system for sure. Okay, so but my point is that we remember when we had to be bored. We had to learn how to be bored. We had like you do stuff and you're like sitting around waiting for something. You can't just
You can't go to your phone.
You can't go to your phone. So you're sitting there. So we read a lot more, carried a book. I carried books with me all the time. Always had a book with me. Oh, cool. I'll get a chapter in. And that was like how we did it, which is probably healthier. They can't advertise to you the same way.
Or we were forced to have more moments of silence and stillness without constant stimulation with technology.
So you could just sit there and think and like look and stare and
meditate. Go into like a meditative
literally
state.
Meditate.
Yeah. Some people call it, daydreaming, but it's kind of like a form of meditation when you're not
definitely
subjecting yourself to a bunch of stimuli through technology.
Yep. And it is a practice in patience, and it's something that the damn kids these days don't have. I'm there.
The damn kids.
I'm there. I made it.
Kids these days and their technology. Well, my sister is raising her kids without cell phones until they're like, I think,
23.
That's what I would do. I mean, because I think it's more harm than good. Even though like it does give you a lot of information at your fingertips, I think there's...
I have not done that because I am still of the notion that like every new technology does that to some degree.
Yeah.
So it's like my parents used to be like television. It's just all you're interested in is television and video games. Little did they know that we would have televisions in our pockets 24/7 that had very long-lasting batteries.
Yes, that's essentially what it is.
What are you gonna do? Change batteries in your phone? In your TV all day? So it's like, I mean, I think they used to say it about books.
Yeah.
As now you can't listen to your uncle tell a story anymore. You got to read it in a book.
Right.
Of course, they're all from New Jersey. But so I have kind of been like, listen, I want to teach my kid that there are other things that are important.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know that technology will move on with or without him, and it's not like he's gonna all I'm gonna do is be like, sorry, no phone. He's gonna go to school and be like, my dad sucks, know.
And eventually he's gonna have to experience it. And also, if you tell a kid don't do this thing, they're more likely to try to do it.
First of all, I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Second of all, I'll call you from the cop car later.
They want to know why.
They want to know why I did that.
So there's a poem by Emily Dickinson that I think really relates to this notion of time that we've been talking about. So I wanted to read this and we can chat about it. It's called Forever is Composed of Nows. Forever is composed of nows. 'Tis not a different time, except for infiniteness and latitude of home. From this experienced here, remove the dates to these. Let months dissolve in further months, and years exhale in years. Without debate or pause or celebrated days. No different our years would be from Anno Dominis. Thoughts?
It's beautiful poetry.
Yeah.
It's something I feel like we all kind of, have to come to terms with this idea that one day we're going to be in the present, and it's going to be much different from now. It's happening. It's almost like it's how we get through it is by romanticizing time in a way, and being like, oh, this beautiful poetry is making me feel better about the fact that one day I'll die. Well, I mean, in a way, right? So like the impermanence of it all, like this is kind of to find the beauty in to sit there and read something like that. You start to be like, oh man. So in my mind, I go, what a beautiful thing that person existed and was able to do that, and it traveled to now. And now we get to sit here and read it and just be kind of like engulfed in the poetry of it all. And like there's a happiness, there's a sadness. It's kind of like just an emotional thing that we all have to face, that like time and impermanence is a thing.
Yeah. And in a sense, I interpret this as her saying the present moment is how we experience infinity, because if Einstein is correct, and we pretty much know he is, then the past, the future, the present, they all exist. So even when the future becomes the present is how we touch infinity, because in this moment, this is all we have. Forever is composed of nows.
Yep.
So I just think it's a beautiful way of appreciating every moment. And it's almost like, it is kind of, to your point, a way of sort of comforting. It's a comforting thought to think, okay, eventually like our bodies are going to decay, but we can tap into infinity
like that
in the moment.
But that will be now.
Yeah.
When we get there, and so we have to come to grips with that.
Yeah.
And then we get to like, and obviously we have cool language to be able to, that's our telekinesis, right? I make words over here, and now they go in your brain, and then you get
telepathy.
Yeah.
Telekinesis is when you like move things with your
yeah, telepathy, sorry. Well, I guess so. I'm still watching telekinesis. I move my hand. But yeah, no, so yeah, it does. And I think that is something that is kind of intuitive, is that it's always the present, right? And so for her to flip it and be like, it's the present, but that is eternity. That is, you are there in it. Like you are there at that time, and the next time will be the present, and the next time will be the present. It's almost like the photon standing still. The photon's always in the present, or the fact that like we flipped how entropy looks. Like, well, maybe it's not organized to chaos; it's chaos to organize. And, there's different ways to flip it, and having stuff like that is comforting. Like when you were reading that poem, I'm sitting there going, it's like, I get it. You get it. It's beautiful. It's obviously beautiful words.
Yeah.
So you're going, oh, how great, how amazing is that?
Yeah.
And then there is like almost like a severity to it of just being like, oh God, I know what she's talking about. It's beautiful and tragic at the same time. It's like all these you get the impermanence from it, but then like she twists it and she says, or is it eternity? Or is it how we experience infinity? Like, because it's all kind of the same.
Yeah, because in one dimension, this moment is forever. Like, scientifically speaking, if we don't think about time as linear, if we think about time as ever present, then this moment is forever. I mean, that's one way of looking at it. Also, she's talking about the way we organize time with calendars and with the way we celebrate days, that doesn't change the fact that we have the present moment, what's happening here and now, right? So no matter how we like want to organize time or schedule time, we still have, that doesn't change how now is all we have.
Right. At any given moment.
Yeah.
And once again, not even a slice.
Yeah.
Because it's not like film where it's like,
yeah,
one slice of time.
That's funny you bring that up, because that's kind of like what motivated me to become a filmmaker. Is it feels like, it feels like I'm creating a time capsule. I'm creating this little reality that it exists in this time. I'm like capturing time forever, and you can re-experience that same.
It's the only way we could slice up time in a way.
With film,
right? Yeah.
So there's this play that I recently saw because people I know produced it. It's called Rabbit Hole, and it's about processing grief, and it's about this married couple that loses a child, and in it, the male, the husband is constantly watching an old tape of their kid and a moment in time that they experienced together when they were happy. And it was like his birthday and they were at a park. So the husband character is sneaking downstairs and constantly watching this tape. And so that's just an example of how in that moment, it sort of relates to her poem, because that moment that he's watching, it kind of exists forever. And that's a way he can kind of re-experience that moment again and again.
It's funny because I was talking about this earlier. In fact, Logan said something. He was like, I, for some reason, don't take a lot of pictures or anything.
Yeah.
I just don't. Like, I have a really nice camera on my phone, apparently. But I'll use it to, like, get settings, like, to get... So, in a way, I'm capturing a moment in time, but more for, like, utility purposes than, like, trying to, like, relive the moment. And maybe it's something, like, I would have been more interested... I mean, I have some moments that when I go through my mind, I'm like, oh, right. But, like, it's just because, like, one day randomly out of the year, I decided to take a picture, like, do something that day. So it's nice.
Yeah.
But I also worry about having so much, like, people record so much on their phones that it's almost like meaningless
away
now.
From the present moment.
Right.
If you're so caught up in trying to like film
capture
the present moment, then you're actually not. Are you experiencing it? No, you're experiencing trying to capture the moment.
Can't wait to enjoy this later.
And that drives me crazy.
I know.
That is sort of like contradictory. I mean, when you're creating a film, it's all about the capturing, right? But when you're just living life, then it's like, do we need to take a picture of everything we experience in order to validate it?
Well, in today's society, yes. And like, for instance, like, I have almost like no social media presence now.
Yeah.
Like, you can find my Instagram and all that stuff. You can find it, but like, I haven't posted on it since.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you the last time I posted on Instagram. It's just not. It's not a thing. There was maybe sometimes, like, when I was getting cool records, I would post like a little 30-second clip of like some new record I was excited about. Yeah. And then I even kind of stopped with that because I was like, what am I doing? Filming me listening to a record? Like, okay. and I understand. Well, I understand. Like, it's obviously in times where, like, during the pandemic, it was great that we had it.
Yeah,
it was great that we had
connect.
It helped us connect in a way that we wouldn't have been able to before. So there's it's not like everything's totally evil.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, now when you go to a concert and you're watching the entire crowd, like
recording
the entire concert essentially, and doing this stuff, you're like, I don't think about that stuff. Like, I go to a concert, somebody would have to remind me to like take a picture of something.
I think that's a good thing, though, because you're not trying to validate the experience with a picture. You're just trying to be fully present.
I'm only there because I want to be there.
Right.
Not because I want to show anybody else I'm there.
Yeah.
But that's me, too. I'm also would just rather, like, stay in my studio and make music all day.
Yeah.
If I get out, it's because, like, I want to be there. Like,
right.
I want to experience whatever's going on.
Yeah.
But I also do really appreciate it when like someone I'm with goes, "Oh, let's take a picture." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's cool," because it would be nice to look at it later and be like, "Oh, remember that?"
Yeah, I think in moderation, pictures are nice in moderation. But I do think nowadays, I think people tend to take so many pictures that it can actually take you away from the experience.
Yeah, and it's not like they look at them all.
Yeah.
You know what the camera rolls look like? I've had the same
Yeah.
camera roll on this phone, not this phone, but through all my phones.
Yeah.
Since like maybe 2014. And I guess the space on the phone keeps getting bigger, but I still have those back there.
Yeah.
Like I could scroll back like years and years and years and years
Yeah.
to my phone, because I just don't take enough pictures for it to be like an issue.
Yeah. Right.
Like,
right. Yeah.
The ones I do take are like, oh, sweet. I feel like I'm also selective about keeping like trinkets or anything things
to remind you of.
Like I'll keep like randomly weird things. Like I have these weird paintings that my friend and I did 20 years ago on these pieces of cardboard.
Yeah.
And I just have them. And I'm like, oh, remember that? But then there's like other things like it's almost like it just happens. If this was meant to be, I will keep this thing.
Yeah.
If I'm supposed to take a picture, I'll remember it, but I usually don't. But I do also have a really good memory. So maybe that's kind of also why.
If you have a good memory, then you don't really need the picture to remind you.
Right.
I think that's interesting because it definitely relates to this notion of like Bergson and what Emily Dickinson was saying, and even Dōgen to an extent, like just being present. What does it mean to be present, right? Because if you are looking at an old photo, your mind is actually traveling back in time. And that's sort of a way that we can time travel to the past in our mind through our memory.
Yep.
It's almost like we're reliving. I mean, that's kind of what PTSD is in trauma. It's
right.
like we're reliving that memory, and in a sense, that's like time travel. We're like traveling back to that experience.
Not in the scientific way, but in the way that matters more.
In the consciousness way.
In the way that matters. In the way that does matter more.
Yeah.
Or at least is more impactful.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it would be more impactful to stop my parents from meeting, but it seems like that, like the science is all theoretical and we're like, oh, that's crazy that I could travel at the speed of light and come back and I'd be 1,000 years older than y'all. But like really, like it's like you see a picture or a memory of like a loved one who passed or something, and then you're like, this is the real important stuff. That's the stuff that really matters. It's just like we said, we wouldn't want to like go into the future like that because it's like, I mean, that's cool and all, I guess, but like, what about my friends?
Yeah.
I love them.
So yeah, but what you're saying as far as like, oh, I don't feel the need to take a lot of pictures, or it sounds like you've kind of you're good at just like being present in the moment and mindfulness, which can be tough. I don't collect a lot of things either, and because I found that like I like being present. Like I like being fully present in the moment. And sometimes it's nice to reminisce, because the present does, our past does help shape our present. Sure. We learn from our past. And without memory, how do we even define anything, right?
Anything at all. Are we a collection of our memories?
Yeah.
And it's interesting because like I have like my good friend Sammy, she collects everything.
Oh, really?
She has like a house where like every trinket and she travels a lot and she gets stuff and she brings it back, and her house is completely decorated from head to toe. If houses had heads or toes, the head would be traveling at a different time. But it's everywhere. And like I also appreciate that about her.
Yeah.
Oh, what's funny is those cardboard pictures paintings that I said, that was done with her.
Oh, okay.
So maybe I did that because I know she was so into keeping stuff.
Yeah.
But I also like can appreciate that. It's just something like I don't find myself thinking of.
Right.
I'm not like, oh, we went somewhere and I'll grab this rock and I'll bring it back to my house. But to her, she like brings it back, and then that rock is some sort of like almost like a meditation focus.
Yeah.
Where you put it down like and then she sees it in like the chaos of what is her house. And she goes, remember that time when? So that's like, it's just like having a picture or something. It's just like
it takes you back to a moment in time. But that does raise other questions about how reliable is our memory about that moment, because we're constantly
our memories are terrible.
Yeah, we're constantly like, are we remembering things correctly?
Or
is
remembering
another
the memory.
Yeah, is another philosophical question in itself.
Well, we already know just that, like, people remember stuff terribly.
Yeah.
That's why, like, courtroom stuff is like we have our perspective. You can get 5 people who witness the same thing and all give different stories. And for instance, I have a couple memories from when I was extremely young. Like younger than like when you're supposed to be able to keep memories.
Like what, like 2?
Yeah.
Wow.
But they're so oddly specific, and I remember them so vividly. And I've brought them, and there's not a lot. It's really just like 2 main ones. But then I have other memories from like 3 and 4 and stuff, like before 6, where people are like, you can't do that. And I've had people be like, you can't do that. Those are false. And I'm like, no, I've had them the whole time. They've been in there the whole time. I remember them specifically. They haven't changed. I've had them since I was a kid. I remember remembering them at 6 and 7 and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, it is totally possible that I'm just completely that I've just sculpted this over the years. But I remember telling my parents about it. It's the same story. I told them about it a long time ago, like years and years and years ago. So I don't feel like they've changed. And it's not like I have a ton of memories from then.
Right.
I have like just a couple, like very specific ones. And I've definitely had people just be like, no. And I'm like, listen, you can't rob this from me. Okay. And I do have a good memory like that. Like I definitely, stuff from like 4 and 5, I definitely have memories from then. And a lot of people are like, I don't remember anything before 7. And I'm like, huh? It's just a blank slate from 4 then? I don't understand.
Yeah.
So it's almost like your memories are informing you of stuff even when you don't remember them.
Well, yeah, because memory leaves an imprint. So one of my favorite movies is Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. And you've seen it? Yeah. And it's all about, okay, if we can erase memories, can that make the painful experience, can that make the present moment more bearable? Because we're not reliving the pain. And it raises a lot of interesting questions, because even if you can erase a memory, the imprint is probably still there.
Yep.
That's why repressed memories, I mean, maybe it's good to repress certain things, but the imprint, the subconscious mind,
what you're going to do and how you're going to react.
Yeah, the subconscious mind for sure. Whether you can consciously remember it, the subconscious mind can. Right.
Your body still has a reaction to it.
Yeah.
And if something like that comes up again, your body's going to be a pragmatist about it. It's going to remember, this did not work last time. This was bad last time. Or this was good last time. We shall do it again.
Yeah.
But and honestly, like, it's not like, our brains are made for, like, the African savannah. We didn't, it's not even like, why would we evolve to remember everything?
Yeah.
It wouldn't make any sense. It'd be so much computing power all the time. We'd have to eat like twice as much just to keep up with it.
Yeah. It makes sense to remember the things that are useful and helpful in the present, right? And to let go of the stuff that's painful. But, I mean, in a sense, I think it is important to remember the pain, because if you learn how to not experience it again, right?
A lot of things you don't even know. A lot of things you can make a decision about and not even know why you made that decision. You're like, oh, let me think. Why don't I want to do that or whatever? And maybe you can come up with some reasons, but like a lot of times you're making stuff. Your brain's not like going through every like, you say name a city and you say a city. Did we do that last time? I feel like I may have done that last time, but it's like it's a free will thing.
Okay.
Because it's like you name a city, so like let's name any city.
Okay, Atlanta.
Okay, so Atlanta. So why did you name that over Chicago?
Because I live in Atlanta.
Okay, so you live in Atlanta. So how far can you trace it back before you can be like, I don't fucking know. Right? There's like comes a point where where you're like,
where did that come from?
Yeah,
where do any of our thoughts come from?
Right, they just pop up, but it's like something's happening inside of us that we're not conscious of. And those are like
subconscious
things
mind.
from our past, things that happened, and it's bringing us right in the future. We're making decisions that are gonna affect it but it's all happening at once. But here we are, and if I traveled at the speed of light towards the center of the earth, what would happen? It's it's so much for our it's a lot for our brains to even be here having this conversation, to think about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just almost like, I'm surprised that we've discovered half of the stuff we've discovered.
Yeah.
Considering what our brains are made for.
I know. I do feel, though, that there are certain parts of the brain that are dormant, that maybe there's a way to activate those parts. Like telepathy or...
Oh, man, that's definitely some sci-fi stuff. I'd be down.
That's why I like making sci-fi movies, because I like thinking about how our brains actually are more powerful than we give them credit for. I like to think that.
I would love that also. I am skeptical.
Yeah.
But I do.
Yeah.
But we've already proven they can do so many amazing things to begin with.
That's true. Yeah.
Like sometimes I'll be here and then I'll just write a song.
Yeah.
And then record it. I'm like, where did that come from?
Mm-hmm.
And that's awesome. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? Like, you have people writing poetry. You have people like, you have people making movies that like I Heart Huckabees or something. You're like, well, that was cool.
Yeah.
We were supposed to just be running from lions and trying to, find some meat to eat,
Yeah.
and here we are making movies and stuff. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it's interesting because the way we used to measure time had to do, before clocks existed, had to do with just like the sun, and like you would wake up and it was all about how do we survive. But
well, we found some kind of predictability.
Yeah.
And I think our brains strive
yeah.
for finding, just give us something, some kind of true north.
Right.
Please, kind of drowning over here. So
Yeah.
you see the sun come up every day, and then you notice longer trends. You notice the seasons, and that's obviously was so important to us. All of a sudden we there was a time where like we don't know why it gets cold, and then it's hot, and then crops are there, and then they're not, and then that's why we have all these traditions and all the religious. All the religious stuff is based off of seasonal stuff and
Yeah.
astrological stuff. Oh, look at those stars. Those are the damn same stars that come around every year.
Right.
And they're in the same spot, and
Yeah.
so we find the predictable stuff, and we kind
find
of
the patterns.
we kind of set our clocks to it,
Mm-hmm.
and then we found better clocks.
Atomic clocks.
Atomic clock, quartz watches. So speaking of, I feel like maybe it's a good time now to get into some music and poetry stuff.
Yes. And I wanted to ask you, as a musician, is there a moment in time that you can remember where you felt like time stood still, or that time stretched on, or that time was sort of altered? Like,
yeah, you kind of have those, like, I'll have those Satori moments.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
And I would have considered myself Buddhist in high school, so like, and I was into meditation
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So maybe I'm kind of a little bit more tapped into it, but I feel like musicians have that stuff acting's the same way.
Mhm.
Like if you're in the middle of a scene and you're just like, you have these moments of just pure focus, but almost in a way where it's like the focus isn't, you think of focus like, oh God, I'm intensely focusing. It's not like, it could be intense, but it's not like, it seems fluid, like a fluid focus.
Well, for acting, there's been moments where I felt like I've stepped into a different time and space continuum. Like I've stepped into a different dimension and I'm someone else entirely.
Yeah.
So I've had moments like that. Not all the time, but I've had moments where I honestly feel like I've stepped into an alternate dimension.
Which is cool.
But it's just a feeling, it's my experience of time.
So I think like on stage obviously is like a big one. Like when I'm engaging in like playing music, especially improv.
Yeah.
And once again, improv, like
Yeah.
it's the same thing, especially in those moments. You just find like these little grooves and like you hit something and then you're in it and then you kind of go like, it's just like it's Satori. The whole idea is that you can't stay there forever. You get little glimpses into it.
Yeah.
Of just like, and you do something and then it's almost like noticing that you're focusing takes you out of the focus. That's the problem with meditation, right?
Right.
I finally cleared. Oh, there it is. Damn it. I can't say that. I can't say that I cleared my mind because then all of a sudden I'm thinking about the thought that I cleared my mind.
You're thinking about the thought.
Right.
We're the only creature, I think, that thinks about our thoughts so much, you know?
So I've definitely found that in moments while playing music, and there's been other moments where if I in the moments after creating something and recording it and like listening back, where I just have these moments of just like pure like it's like some kind of like release, like I did it, and now I get one of those moments too. I kind of feel like the same way. Like maybe that first listen back after I've kind of like completed it and it's done and I'm just like reveling in it.
Yeah.
It's definitely very zen like for a moment. So time.
Yes.
That's what brings us here today.
Yes.
Marriage. No.
Time is of the essence.
Time is of the essence. So Pink Floyd, Time, one of my favorite songs. I can play the solo to it verbatim on guitar.
Oh my gosh, do you want to play it or do you want to just read the lyrics? I don't want to put you on the spot, but private concert.
I guess I could play it, huh? I wonder if it would pick up well on here.
If you want to. I mean, I think it'd be fun. You know, if you had fun, it would be fun for you. Only if.
I mean, I could definitely. I've played it a million times. But I want to do the whole solo. I'll grab an acoustic. It'll pick up well enough.
Okay, only if you want to.
Yeah. I mean, what am I doing here? Like...
Oh my goodness! You just vanished. All this talk about time, you just vanished into another space-time continuum. This is amazing. You time traveled. You stepped into a portal. Oh wait, there you are.
This thing's tuned. Wait, I don't know how this is gonna sound. I might overdub it afterwards.
That's fine. As long as you edit out the space-time portal time travel.
I really want the solo, though. I won't be able to do it, but... Ticking away moments to make up a dull day. You fritter and waste the hours in an offhand way. Kicking around on a piece of ground in your hometown, waiting for someone or something to show you the way. You're tired of lying in the sunshine, staying home to watch the rain. You were young and life was long. There is time to kill today, and then one day you find 10 years have got behind you. No one told you when to run. You missed the starting gun. So you run and you run to catch up with the sun, but it's sinking. Racing around to come up behind you again. The sun is the same in a relative way, but you're older. You're shorter of breath, one day closer to death. And every year is getting shorter. You never seem to find the time, and plans that either come to naught, or half a page of scribbled lines, hanging on in quiet desperation is the English way. The time is gone, the song is over. Thought I'd something more to say.
I love the way it ends, because it's almost like there's not a resolution at the end. So it really just like hits that existential regret note, you know? It's like we're on autopilot until decades pass, and it's very much a critique of disconnection from the present moment.
Yes, and honestly, just getting thrown into it.
Yeah.
You know, just getting thrown into the world, and one day forming memories and being like, huh?
Yeah.
What are we doing? And then you kind of kindly get informed, hopefully. Hey, you're in the world. This is kind of how things work. Time is passing, and then they tell you, it's like I tell my kid, time's snowballing.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, 5 years to a 15-year-old is a third of your life.
Yeah.
5 years to me,
Yeah.
it's a completely different experience. But it's obviously the relative thing, right? Like 5 years to someone who's our age.
Yeah.
Even though I am probably slightly older.
You're a little older.
Just a little bit. Just a little smidge. Enough to bring it up every time. It's just not a lot.
Yeah.
It's just not a lot. Now you just go you're like, well, 5 years. If you tell a 15-year-old you got 5 years left, they'll be like, hot damn. That's an eternity. If you were to tell one of us, like, hey, you got 5 years left, we'd be like, oh, shit. I'm sorry. I'll bleep that out.
Oh, I don't care.
Well, shit then. No, because we now realize that, like, 5 years was just the pandemic.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It's just snowballing. So, we'll just look at the words real quick. We'll just go through now that I've sung it.
Yeah.
Ticking away the moments that make up a dull day. You're sitting there just like, it's a dull day. Things are passing slowly, right? You fritter and waste hours in an offhand way. You find ways to get through this boredom. You're kicking around a piece of ground in your hometown. You know, remember, this is 1973, so there wasn't any kind of distractions.
Right.
And you're waiting for someone or something to show you the way. Plenty of people get caught up in being like, what am I doing here? Like, what? Well, we all do at some point, you know. We just like, what am I doing here? It's like, when does my real life start?
Yeah.
You know, another good songwriter of one of my favorite songwriters, Tim Kasher. He has a line. It's like, I spent the best years of my life waiting for the best years of my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you realize that you never. Nobody's coming along to. If you sit around waiting for someone or something to show you the way, you're missing the entire point.
Right.
You know, and it's the now thing. It's the meditation thing.
Yeah.
You're missing the entire point of meditation if you're frustrated that you're not clearing your mind.
And if you're constantly just either waiting around for something to happen, or you're constantly just pursuing a goal in the future, like you're so attached to like that thing that's coming. Like, for instance, you know, I mean, I think artists can relate, but anybody can relate. Like a lot of people in America, like they get a job they think that like, okay, after college, I'll get a job and then I'll have all these things. Like if they're following the best path, I'm going to get married, have kids.
Yeah.
And then that thing, that reward, that thing is coming. I'm waiting for that thing to come.
And then you'll be happy.
And then, yeah.
And then you will have, it's like, and people do that so much. It's like, and it's such a trope to be like, it's the journey, it's the ride, it's not the, but it really is. It's like, there's a reason why it's a trope. There's a reason why it's like such a stated thing, is because like, it's like, and then once it's like, how many like rich people or like successful people get there and they like, yeah, I thought once I got here I'd be happy, and it turns out I'm like almost like more depressed than I was beforehand. And you're going, oh yeah, because like it doesn't really solve it. Like you almost, it's like for me, like I'm obsessed with like the Sisyphus or the Sisyphus myth.
Yeah,
right.
Pushing the boulder up the rock. Yeah,
it's just like that's the thing. Like, or it's like it's like in Family Guy where the coyote gets the roadrunner. Oh. Finally, and he's just like,
oh, that was overrated.
Yeah, he's like, it just tastes better when you work for it. And then it gets done, and then it's like he's an alcoholic and he doesn't know what to do. He's like working at a waiting tables. It's like, we need the
thrill of the chase. You have to enjoy the thrill.
We want the goals.
You have to enjoy the thrill of the thing you're chasing, or just don't chase things anymore. Yeah. You have to figure out a way to find joy in the moment, because a lot of people, it's all about, once I get a certain amount of money, then I can enjoy. Right. But are you enjoying the process of working on that?
It's like fathers who like go, or any, but not just fathers, but traditionally fathers who like, I go to work every day and I miss my kids growing up, and then pretty soon they're out of the house and I never really got to hang out with them at all. Yeah. It's like, man, for what?
Yeah.
Why? Like make a little less extra money and stay at home with your kids.
Right.
Do some stuff. You're missing all the cool stuff.
Yeah.
And it's been my whole life is like I'm like, journey. I'm a journey person.
Yeah.
Don't stop. But I have lived my life in a way because I do enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
I love it. I don't even want to reach I want to reach the goals, but I don't, kind of. I want to always chase the goals. I love that part about it. So no one told you when to run. You missed the starting gun. Sometimes you're actually like, they did tell you when to run. And you did it, and then you get there and you go, wait a minute, am I part of a capitalist machine? Yeah. That's why they have another song called Welcome to the Machine.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, tired of lying in the sunshine, staying home to watch the rain. You were young and life is long, and there's time to kill today. You feel like you got an eternity.
And that's exactly how I think a lot of us feel. It's exactly how I felt when I was like a teenager and in my 20s. I just thought, I have all the time in the world. And so I took time for granted, you know?
Oh my God, did I ever?
I feel like I would consider a lot of what I did wasting time.
Oh, for sure.
But then I think back, okay, well, I did enjoy some of that time.
Mm-hmm.
So was it a waste? Wasn't productive necessarily, but was it a waste? I don't know.
I don't know. I had fun, but looking back, I'm like, well.
Looking back, I view a lot of what I did was a waste.
It's like I could have done this, I could have done this, but then I wouldn't be here to say that I could have done that because I wouldn't know it because I hadn't experienced the other side of it. So I don't know if it's like a psychological tool that we have to use to be like, I don't regret anything. It's like, well, do I not? But I also don't want to regret stuff. Like, I want to think that, like, my time was used exactly how it was going to be used the entire time. Mm-hmm. And it could be no different.
Yeah.
The Big Bang happened, and every little particle started swirling and led to me just deciding to, make out with girls or something, like instead of like working on my career.
Right.
I was too busy kissing girls. But yeah, so that's definitely like, you were young, life is long.
Mm-hmm.
there's time to kill. But then one day you find that 10 years, I think this is the line that gets everybody in this song.
Yeah.
Then one day you find 10 years have got behind you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the line that when people get to this, they go, all right, yeah, you got me.
Yeah.
You're staring deep into my soul.
Yeah.
Because that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And Roger Waters, when he wrote this, the lyrics to this, he absolutely nails it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it seems so easy to say that, and it doesn't even, you know, it's like, it's almost conversational. It's almost like this isn't even poetry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, are you tired of lying in the sunshine, staying home to watch the rain when you were young and life was long and there's time to kill the day? You know, then one day you find 10 years it got behind you and no one told you when to run.
Mm-hmm.
You miss it. If it didn't rhyme, it would just read like a sentence somebody's done.
Yeah.
You know?
It's so easy to take time for granted when we think that we have so much of it. And then I think the older we get, it's a reminder, okay, I may not have that much more time on the earth, so I want to make the most of it. But what does that even mean, making the most of it? Does that mean accomplishing things? Or does that mean finding joy in every moment, finding, you know, fun, finding like happy, you know?
I mean, I guess it's just kind of different for everybody and like what your psychological needs are.
Yeah.
You know, I am a builder.
Yeah.
I like projects. I want to be doing stuff.
Mm-hmm. You like to create.
I like to create.
Yeah.
And so to me, as long as I'm doing that, preferably with people I love,
mm-hmm.
then I'm fine.
Yeah.
And you know, when I think of my deathbed, I think of like, I always have this vision of me on my deathbed and hopefully like somebody there who loves me. and I can be like, hell yeah, we loved each other. That was awesome. Please outlive me. I don't want to watch you die. And then I go, man, I wrote some pretty cool songs. You know, and like I feel okay with that. Like just to like kind of look back and be like,
I wrote some cool songs.
Man, that was cool. Remember that thing I did? You know, like because like what else do I have?
Yeah.
Well, considering that I don't believe in an afterlife, so I mean,
right.
I can understand if I believed in an afterlife. Honestly, I would get less done.
I think I would too, actually. I think that if I was convinced that there was my consciousness as I know it right now was going to continue on.
Mm-hmm. Our collection of memories,
yeah,
in other words. Yeah.
Yes. If I knew that for certain, then yeah, I don't think I would savor every moment as precious as it is and try to be as creative as I am. You know, I have, but that said, I will say that like oftentimes when I like create something like make a movie or whatever, I think that I'm going to feel this sense of like, oh, you know, like now I'm happy and I'm like, I don't feel that different inside.
Right.
Even though I've created this thing.
Well, and it's nice,
you know?
but it's almost like, I'm almost like sad it's over. Like, it's like I said, when I like listen to a song, when I get done, I listen to the song and then I go, cool. Well, next song.
Moving on to the next thing. Yeah. But there are moments in the creative process that are more joyful that I think that, I don't know. I just think that whatever you do, you have to find a way to fully embrace the moment as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what this song is saying to me. It's like, don't let time just get away from you and forget to savor the moment.
I think it's making that point, but it's also making it in a way that's like, you're messing up.
Yeah.
You know, it's not making it in a like a...
It's like a warning.
It's a warning.
Yeah.
Or it's not just a warning. Well, it is a warning, but it's also just something that so many people have experienced intimately that it's like this warning can't go out to the young.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they won't understand it. You know?
Yeah.
Like
it's like a lament.
Yeah, it's going, hey, you know, I can warn you, but you'd never believe me.
Yeah, it's more of a lament for someone who can relate to it.
Yeah, exactly. It is.
Like it's more of just mourning.
Yeah, it is. So you run and you run to catch up to the sun, but it's sinking. So now we've reached the point where it's like the 10 years have gone by. And you're going, wait a minute, did I miss the starting gun? Am I supposed to start now? What the hell? And then so you run to catch up to the sun, but it's sinking. So now you're like making up for lost time. You're going, oh shit, I gotta
make up.
I gotta do stuff, and it's racing around to come up behind you again. The sun is the same in a relative way, but you're older. So you're looking out across it. There's a line in this other song I gotta pull up because it kind of goes this on. This kind of feels like, in a way, this was kind of the same thing. He's a little bit different how he says it. He's like, I watched the sun sadly set. Any younger, I may have wept. Much older, I wouldn't have noticed. So,
much older, I wouldn't have noticed.
Yeah, because you become so just kind of callous to the world. Oh, just another sunrise.
Yeah.
Just another sunrise. But when you're young and you're experiencing things for the first time, they say magical.
Yeah.
You know, you don't realize you're about to turn into a bitter old person later, you know. But this is the same song where he talks about, you know, but I was out there in the world, it passed me by. I was telling everyone back home that I was taking it by storm. Instead, I watched it from the sidelines. You're young and you're going to be someone, and then you're old and you're ashamed of what you become. Well, take a look. You're preaching to the choir. So that's kind of like how I felt about this. Like, he's preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
it's for the song. The audience is for the choir.
Yeah, exactly.
Not for the young. Yeah.
So yes, the sun is the same in a relative way, but you're older. So you're seeing it through different eyes now. It's the same sun that's been rising and setting every single day when you were younger. And when you're younger, you're like, yeah, new day, and things are happening, blah, 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 and like whatever. Like, even if you're just kicking around, you know, on a piece of ground in your hometown with your friends and learning stuff and doing whatever. But then it just sneaks up on you, and the 10 years are gone. And now you're trying to like catch up to it. So you say, the sun is the same in a relative way, but you're older. You're shorter of breath and one day closer to death. Now you start to really start to feel your impermanence sneaking up on you.
Yeah.
And and friends and loved ones pass. You start to experience real loss.
Yeah.
And you start to go, oh no, that's me one day, you know, or that's my other loved one. Like, just like I said before, like, hopefully my loved one's there watching me die, because I certainly don't want to watch them die.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So now the last verse, whatever, is the last chorus. Every year is getting shorter. That's that snowball effect. Never seem to find the time. Plans that either came to naught or half a page of scribbled lines. Now he's obviously talking about himself now with the scribbled lines. He's writing lyrics. Ones that aren't finished. Or plans that you make that never come to fruition. Hey, we should get together sometime. It's been too long. And then you never do, and then you never see him again.
Yeah.
You know, hanging on in quiet desperation is the English way, which is him just saying, like, it's just, we've trained ourselves to, like, not worry too much about it.
Yeah.
That's the English way. We always hang on in quiet desperation. The time is gone. The song is over. Thought I had something more to say,
and then it just ends without, and even like musically, like that doesn't sound like a resolution.
Well,
is it?
Well,
technically,
this is part of breathe time breathe.
Okay, so
it hits that last chord.
Yeah.
And then you hear the previous song that started.
Yeah.
That you forgot about because it was so long ago now.
Yeah.
And which started out breathe. The first lines of the entire album are breathe in the air.
Right.
Don't be afraid to care.
Yeah.
Don't leave me. Look around, choose your own ground.
Yeah.
And then it comes back in, and you hear the chords from the first song come in, and it goes I'll tell you exactly how it goes. It goes, home again. I like to be here when I can. So it kind of takes you back, and it just says home again.
Home again.
I like to be here when I can.
Yeah.
So to me, it's almost like it almost starts out
like a homecoming.
Yeah, it starts out breathe in the air. Well, what's the first thing you do when you come out of the womb?
You breathe. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then it says, don't be afraid to care.
Yeah.
So it's basically saying, hey, welcome to this world.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid to be a good person.
Yeah, don't be afraid to care. Yeah, because it's, when you're young, it's like, oh, it's not, apathy's cool. I don't care.
Yeah, yeah.
But
don't be afraid to care because
Yeah.
life's coming fast.
yeah. And you're going to miss out. Time's just going to pass if you don't choose to actually care about the experience and the impact. And,
And the lyrics to Breathe are definitely more poetic.
So, but if you just look at that as like it's one song, I do think it's really interesting that it doesn't seem to have, it just kind of
It does, and
fades.
it is a completely different song.
Yeah.
I mean, the music and everything about it is completely different.
Yeah.
Right? So, so if you look at like, just to put some context to, because it is context from this. For what I get from this whole thing is like, breathe is you being born as a human, right? And so it's more poetic. It's also just kind of shorter. So it's like, long you live and high you fly, the smiles you'll give and the tears you'll cry. All you touch and all you see is all your life will ever be.
Oh yeah, I know that one.
Right?
Yes.
So that's leading into it, right?
Oh,
so
that's what leads into
That's
this.
what goes into it. And then it's run, rabbit, run, dig the hole, forget the sun. And when at last the work is done, don't sit down, it's time to dig another one. For long you live and high you fly, but only if you ride the tide, and balanced on the biggest wave, you race towards an early grave. Okay, so that's what happened. That's what's said right before time comes in. And it definitely sets it up pretty well. And then right afterwards, I think it's beautiful because it goes back into it and it says, home, home again. I like to be here when I can. When I come home cold and tired or something like that, it's nice to warm my bones besides the fire.
Oh.
And so it kind of like brings it back to where it's like, remember the things that are important.
Yeah.
It's these smaller moments, that really like mean something.
Yeah. And this idea of home, coming home to yourself, coming home to your breath, coming home to your body, coming home to, your heart, what matters to you, what you care about. Home is where the heart is, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, it's like all this despair and the thought I had something more to say. And then it's like, wait a minute. It's these little moments that matter. Yeah. It's the now.
Right.
Am I going to fret now about that I'm going to die? Am I going to fret that I wasted all this time? Am I going to worry about the past, or am I going to worry about the future? And it's like, no, I'm going to go home. Yeah. Be comfortable with maybe some loved ones. Get a fire going. And then you start to realize like that these are the moments that the now are the moments that matter, like the people you love. It's why we're not going to go 1,000 years in the future, because that doesn't matter as much as sitting next to your significant other on the couch and like cuddling and like having some tea. Right. It seems so mundane. Yeah. And just like watching the sun, much older, I wouldn't have noticed. Like you still get caught in patterns, and you go, oh, another night sitting on the couch watching. It's like. But if you're really living in the now, you're soaking it in. You're like, no, this moment was just as special as the last time we did it, and the last time before that, and the last time before that. Yeah. It's all relative, right?
I have a question. So are there ever moments where you feel like you have to kind of emotionally disconnect a little bit? Like you have to mentally check out just a little bit? Otherwise, it would be so overwhelming. Because I'm thinking about, you've seen American Beauty?
Oh, it's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah. So when that movie first came out,
we have like the same favorite movie list.
That's so funny. I loved that movie. And people make fun of the bag and everything.
No, but the bag is awesome.
But that one monologue where he's talking about how like sometimes I feel like it's so much, like I can't. It's overwhelming.
I can't take it. Yeah.
I think that sometimes as human beings, we put our own barriers up because being fully present and fully aware of everything can feel overwhelming emotionally, mentally. Like,
I love those moments.
Yeah.
Myself.
Yeah.
But I'm a weird dude too. Like because I do want to channel it into art, and I don't like to I only like drink for fun. Oh, we were talking about this earlier. I only drink for fun, not to like remove stuff. Like
Right.
I want to fully be in those, whether it's like painful or happy or whatever. Like I want to be fully present in those.
Yeah.
And I do also I loved the bag scene and the monologue and stuff.
Yeah.
I thought it was great because I always thought of stuff like that. I would always
Yeah.
see like little things, and to me, like being able to find the beauty in those little mundane things is so much more important than even the grandest of like. And I guess it goes back to like the time thing and saying like, oh, our perception of time and like our emotionally and psychologically,
Yeah.
to me, is way more important of whether or not I can travel 1,000 years in the future. Like what matters are these little things. Like, am I making the most of the time? Am I missing out on time because I'm worrying about what might happen or what didn't happen? Or am I doing what I can with it? So the way that I obviously deal with things that are too much is I make music.
Yeah.
I write songs about it.
Yeah.
And then I get to, instead of, I was describing this to somebody else the other day, and they're like, "Oh, it's a pretty good analogy." Whatever. But I always think about like I can have this emotion that is consuming me. Usually, the negative ones are the ones the hurtful ones or whatever. You know, like a bad breakup or a death or something like that. And you can take it and be like, "I don't want to feel it anymore." Bury it.
Right.
Bury it deep down inside.
Right.
And don't let it ever come out. This certainly won't hurt me later. But what I like to do is take all of that, and then I put it into a song, and then it's almost like I can take that, and it's like I've contained it, and I can go, we'll set that there.
Yeah, you've channeled it into something creative. That can also...
And now it doesn't live in me.
Yeah. You're processing it in a creative way, and hopefully someone else will appreciate that because they can relate to it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's a very unique way of kind of processing like the overwhelming emotions. But I just think in day-to-day life, it can be hard for us to be fully present and fully authentic, especially in like the workplace and like, you know, for instance, like it's very easy for me to get lost in anybody's eyes. So anyone's eyes, if I'm looking at them long enough, I'll start to cry. Like I just because
you're like, I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Because I'm taking them in, and it happens to me a lot.
Is it something where like you are kind of like having that moment of Sonder where it's like now you're processing that this person is like have their own experience and their own life, or is it like a connection thing where you're like, we're talking and it's just beautiful that we're both here to share this moment, even though it's something like, so those reports have got to get to me by noon, and Johnson's over here working on the Leo case, and you're going, so beautiful. Sometimes.
So it just depends. It doesn't happen like with everyone all the time, but that's just an example of when I feel like I have to kind of check out just enough to function, right? To function in daily life. Like for instance, like I got a smoothie today, okay? And the guy was dealing with this woman who came in, and she was like complaining, being rude about spinach. Like I said I liked spinach. She was just getting mad over something really petty, and then I told him, I was like, I could tell he was like visibly upset. And so I was like, I understand. Don't let that stuff get to you. You know, I've had plenty of serving jobs. You just have to accept that people kind of get mad over really petty things.
Right.
And then he started like opening up to me, and I could tell he was like all like really emotional. So I had to kind of disconnect a little bit, because otherwise again, I would have been late to work if I had kept being present in that. You know what I'm saying? So that's just one example of like, it's difficult in modern American society when we're so conditioned to schedules and the time, the way we measure time and organize. It's very difficult to be present. You know, we think about, oh, I have to get up for work the next day. I have to. So I just think, you know, songs like this, it's just a reminder to you know, to do our best to like
a nudge.
Yeah, it's a nudge. It's like, don't let like time get away from you without being fully there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was going to ask you this too. Are there ever moments where you feel like you can appreciate a moment more looking back on it?
Oh, yeah.
Than when you were actually living
all
it?
the time. Yeah.
Yeah, and
all the time.
That happens to me a lot too. Like, for instance, I was involved with this play one time. And there were, like, during the play, it was just a lot. I was like, oh, I can't wait till this play is over. And then after the play was over, thinking back, I'm like, oh, that was a really great experience.
Mm-hmm.
You know
I've done
what I'm
that
saying?
so many times.
Yeah.
And honestly, a lot of the stuff are things that were just really difficult at the time.
Yeah.
But I'm like proud to have been a part of it. Or
Yeah.
I look back and I'm like, you know what? Those days when Stokeswood was traveling around in a rickety old van and it was 19 degrees in Ithaca, New York, and we're sleeping in the van because we don't have we can't go to the gig yet. Then we don't have a hotel. We're so poor that we just had to go get a jar of peanut butter and some bread, and we're literally no jelly. Just we're like eating peanut butter sandwiches. And at the time you're going, man, this fucking sucks. And I look back, I'm like, those were like some of the best times of my life.
Yeah.
You know? And it's a kind of a reframing thing, but it's also just kind of like, once again, the journey at the end, you realize that the journey there was the part that made you who you are today. That's the really cool part.
Yeah.
I could sit there and think that, like, when I think back on those times, I think about like that moment. I don't think about the fact that like 2 days later we were on like the morning show in Miami playing in front of like all of Miami.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and like had this whole thing. It's like not what I think about. You know, when I think about the hard times, it's never the end goal. It's always like, what do we do? Remember that night that we, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
at the time, it doesn't seem like the best part, but it is the best part.
Right. And then sometimes those challenging moments, you don't even, you feel the most alive sometimes in those moments that may be uncomfortable, but you feel the most alive.
Yep.
Right. So, anyway, I love that song. I think it's a good nudge, a good reminder. Like, let's not take our moments for granted.
Yeah, I completely agree.
And, yeah. Any other quotes or anything you want to share about time before we?
I feel like our time. I feel like that was a good note to end on.
Yeah.
You know, like where do we even go from there? Back to physics? I don't think so. It's not happening.
Yeah.
No, that was good. I like this was a good. We dipped our toes into the black hole. and look, here we are. 2 hours in the future.
There we go.
And somehow still in the present.
Yeah. So I guess final thoughts, if you're listening, let us know what you think about the philosophy of time, the physics of time. I'm curious because there was that whole debate between Einstein and Bergson. Do you think that they're both valid, or do you think that like we should examine time more through like Einstein's lens or Bergson's lens? Comment below, let me know. And also, yeah, remember not to take our time for granted. Make the most of every moment.
Love y'all.
Thanks for watching. Time to go. And now we're going to travel into a portal